Okay, so everyone in the US is showing how their bread does not dissolve underwater. I want to show you Australian bread.
He said the pyramids weren't built, they were unbuilt.
I'm gonna tell y'all the real reason why Lady Gaga was there.
Hey, Segovia, back with another one. Hope everyone out there's having a good day, y'all. We got a good one coming up today. Make sure you guys watch from start to finish. That really helps the channel grow. But with that being said, let's get into it. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Whether it's a scam or not, I would hate to see that on my parents' Ring camera, y'all. I would hate to see that. Just remember, this video today is just for entertainment purposes only, y'all. Remember that. I'm here to entertain. That's it.
That come from the war guys. If you got a gun, you worship the war guys. There's a lot of different guys, and that gun gonna already attract shit that you gotta shoot. Tell a lot of people don't know, right? Because it's the energy of the gun. Did you know this? That this is crazy, and people don't know this, but a lot of people about to know this. Because I'm about to tell them. Did you know the Americans, they was losing the war, right? And to win the war, they had to create a new gun. They created a new gun that had different shots. They could shoot it fast, right? They made that gun. They went and shot, and they won the war. But the man that made the gun, he died. After that, everybody that died hunted his wife. Yeah, she made a house, gang, and the house that she made different rooms. The way you walk in the house, you'll fall down through it. She stayed in the house and never left. She paid all the money to change the house because them spirits was hunting her.
Oh, wow.
That's her woman. Listen, yeah.
Shit, yeah, the cold revolver.
It's true.
They created that thing.
It's true, and they knew this, and they know all of this, and they won't tell you this, right?
Yeah.
Listen, our people understand all the ghosts is nothing but people that. Well, let me tell you this. When you die, soon as you die, automatically, while you waiting to see what happened, your body take a photocopy, and that turn to a ghost. Automatically, you photocopy soon as you die. Soon as you die.
So wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Does the spirit
Photocopy itself? Yeah.
Of the Matrix movies. Yeah. Where were they plugged into the Matrix? The back of the neck, the reptilian brain. The back of the brain here, this brain stem here. It's called by science the reptilian brain. This is where our survival response comes from. So what psychologists call fight or flight, where you're in danger, do I smack the guy or run? That's all coming from the reptilian brain. Things like road rage, they come from the reptilian brain. What the reptilian brain does is it doesn't think, it reacts. It's all about survival. It's scanning the environment for threats to survival. And like I say, not just physical survival, relationships, paying the mortgage, all that stuff. And what is that doing? Generating this low vibrational anxiety and fear, which is what these entities feed off. And I do think that the reptilian element of the human brain is not there by accident, it's there by design.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Hello, Nicholas.
What are you looking at, butthead? What are you looking at, butthead?
Your whole perception reality opens up when you start looking Google for 5150. You will see a lot of celebrities that were crashing out, and you'll see those news articles, 5150 be referenced. Britney Spears shaved her head. That was a specific contract that she was under. It was a 5150 contract. When Kanye West got picked up and they put all those in them, it's a 5150 contract. And it's the main reason why they send people to Los Angeles, California, because that's legal there.
Is that the rehab center?
Well, no, it's a specific contract that allows for your management, your guardian, whoever's controlling your money, to put you in a psych ward or a brain reconstruction. And like I said, they put these things in movies. So most of the time, the truth is in our face, but they make sure to have us focus on something else. When Britney Spears was crashing out, everyone was focused on her shaving her head and going out or going crazy. No one focused on the 5150 contract, and they make sure you ain't focused on it because it's something that they constantly use. They can't afford for the American people to know the way they play this game, because then it's over.
The Super Bowl, they say, is the biggest trafficking event of the year. I don't know exactly how it works, but either the game is a distraction or the city where it's held, tons of people go missing. I hate to be that guy, but it's weird.
You guys,
I mean, think about it. There's so much celebrities that are on these lists that come to the town, as we see coming up, private jets through the butt at the airport. And that's up. No coincidence there.
look, do you see it? All these dudes. Look, what do they all have in common? What do they all have in common, guys?
Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, Ben Skoranek, A-Rod. More and more athletes are finally starting to understand the danger behind wireless technology like Bluetooth headphones.
You gotta protect the brain.
I didn't even think about that because the radiation,
Electromagnetic.
they're all just going in there.
This is not a conspiracy theory. There is legitimate science dating back to the 1960s showing that non-native electromagnetic fields can have detrimental impacts on plants, animals, and humans. And it's not just your headphones. It's your Wi-Fi, cell towers, cell phones, electronic devices, electric vehicles, power lines, the wiring inside your walls, the light emitted from your device screens, and more. In our modern environment, we are being inundated by these fields everywhere we go. And as technology continues to grow, this is the #1 health problem we will all.
So y'all want to talk about that guy that jumped headfirst into a deep fryer at Olive Garden? Well, I work a block from where this happened. I've eaten at the Olive Garden, and I have multiple friends who witnessed this. So let's go over what they told me. The witnesses firsthand who saw this told me. Because they're not releasing all the information in the news because it's ruled. But we're going to get into that too. I have to say alleged for legal reasons. According to witnesses who saw this, this man was high on PCP and has come in to work before high on PCP. He had to be taken off the clock the one day because he was so out of his mind, according to witnesses. So on this day, he showed up to the 4 o'clock shift, high on PCP, and started removing all his clothes. Then he started playing in the deep fryer, and everyone was screaming, trying to stop him. Everyone's confused. They said it looked like he was possessed. Because if you don't know anything about PCP, it completely removes you from the driver's seat. Okay, you can't feel pain most of the time. If you do enough, it blocks your pain receptors completely. It shuts off your frontal lobe. So he most likely felt no pain when doing this. And some people said he was stating he felt hot, so they believe that he thought the deep fryer was water.
I'm gonna tell y'all the real reason why Lady Gaga was there, so that y'all won't feel like you didn't understand. Before she went on stage, he said, "Dime, esto es lo que tú querías," which means, tell me, is this what you wanted? And then it cut to a white woman singing in English.
Hey, checkmate, motherfucker.
It's self-explanatory.
That wasn't a bad performance,
There's a
y'all. I ain't
laser
gonna lie.
right here telling them where to get tackled. Literally right here. Laser. It's gonna.
Hey,
look, it's flashing.
Can't hate
it's
the player,
flashing.
y'all. Can't be
right
mad
there.
at him.
This is where he's gonna get tackled. Right on this laser. Boom. Oh, ball goes down. Huh. The fuck is that, NFL?
I see big light falling from the sky, and moments after, I feel a big impact and a shock wave. When I tried to look at the object, it was all blurry, and I hear thousands of footsteps around me. At this point, we all freaking out, me and my family. Then my brother calls me, look behind the forklift, and then I see the alien. It was a tall, skinny, lengthy creature, a gray greenish color, and he has a weird looking feet, and I could hear his loud deep breathing, and I could see his stomach moving, and a big face and eyes, and you could see a big mouth. And when I looked at it in the eyes, my body just froze. The same experience as having sleep paralysis. Seconds later, I could start moving again, and I start running towards the house. That's when I call 911.
So there's 2 people or 2 subjects that are in your backyard?
Correct, and they're very large. They look like aliens to us. I'm waiting for the police to come, and you can hear footsteps in the backyard area, and a loud whispering, like you can hear whispering. You can hear footsteps on the roof.
Do you see anything land in your backyard, or
they see like a big? That's what they say. They see like a big something with light.
So they went in the backyard, and one of the officers pointed at the floor, and it was a perfect circle. So they left, and we went inside the house, and we started praying. As we're praying, you can hear a loud scream in the backyard. This is what happened to me on May 1st, 2023.
One of the weirdest things about the files is jerky is mentioned over 380 times in the files, with such messages as, "Oh, I left the jerky in the freezer for you," and "Oh, I'm bringing beef jerky to this party." Not even beef, they just say jerky. "I'm bringing jerky to this party." Now, defenders of this, which is getting crazy to see people defend this or try to rationalize jerky being mentioned 380 times, will say, oh, well, maybe the guy just liked beef jerky. Well, let me tell you something. I love beef jerky, okay? People defend this going, maybe he had a unique diet. I have a unique diet, okay? And guess what? In my own email, I've tried to formulate a jerky product before, okay? An actual beef jerky product, not what they're talking about. And I don't have 380 mentions in my email, okay? As somebody that runs a business that might make a beef jerky product. So I find it extremely strange. Also, you don't freeze beef jerky. So I don't know. Well, I do think I know what they're talking about, and it's disgusting. And I think it's just time we realize that these dudes were demons, and they were doing a lot of the stuff that we think they were. And you just have to, you can fight back in your own life by pursuing real health, pursuing your faith, and living a good life. So it's fine to absorb this information and be like, wow, these people are literal demons, and kind of absorb that information and move forward. But what do you guys think about this?
I work security at Disney World. I don't think people would believe this if I didn't say it out loud. I usually avoid saying that online, but there's no way to tell this without context. A few days ago, management asked me to look into a hotel room that hadn't turned over. Housekeeping went in after checkout time and everything was still there. Clothes, luggage, snacks, kids stuff. Like a family had just stepped out and never came back. The reservation was a family of 4. Mom, dad, 2 kids. The calls to the family went straight to voicemail. Their car was still parked in the parking lot. That's when it stopped feeling like a mix-up. So I started pulling activity from their stay. Dining plan, park entries, ride history. Their last full day was at Magic Kingdom. Breakfast, a couple rides, and then it's a small world. Late morning, nothing after that. I called someone I know over there and asked him to check the cameras. The loading footage showed all 4 of them getting on the ride. Wristband scanned, normal. The exit camera, just the other guests, not them. The ride got shut off, middle of the day. Lights on, music off. People walked the track more than once. They found 3 phones and a kid's hat. No people. I couldn't let it go. That's when I checked Memory Maker. It's the photo system. Ride photos automatically saved to a guest account. Their account had 732 photos. The first few were normal, smiling, crowds, castle shots. Then every single one after that was from It's a Small World. The ride only takes 1 photo per loop. In the early ones, they looked confused, then scared. In later photos, people start disappearing. Dad first, and one of the kids. In the last few, the mom and 1 child are still there, sitting upright, eyes open, not moving, and I swear, the dolls are closer every time. The file size keeps increasing. New photos are still being added. The police just arrived. Disney's going to say a family vanished. They didn't. I know where they are.
I tell you a little secret, it's a secret. Government that worship an owl, they practice witchcraft to harness their power. Little kids for energy, it's satanic ritual, WTC. They lit the Pentagon on fire. That's lighting the pentagram on fire. Now hold on, let me cut that up. Hey, yo.
No, Prodigy wrote a letter, so for everybody like Jay-Z and the Epstein files, y'all don't want to do nothing about. Prodigy been telling y'all that Jay-Z knew about all this occult shit, and he chose his powers to side with the beast, bro. And people are like, oh, in 96, nobody knew Jay-Z in 96. Bro, it doesn't matter if you knew him or not. He was moving through the industry deep. That's when he was getting initiated, bro. It's pictures of Jay-Z and a Masonic lodge, bro. Prodigy was the first one to expose Jay-Z. And there was, of course, dumb hip-hop, dumb, stupid, low-frequency hip-hop fans. Not the true conscious hip-hop, not the true hip-hop fans, but them goofy rap fans. Oh, Jay-Z put a picture of Prodigy in the dressatour, in the leotard, like that was something. And the picture wasn't even bad. And it was literally in his grandmother's studio when he went in. I've listened to his whole book. You feel me? Prodigy was a GOAT, and I went to Queensbridge and stayed on the land. I know Prodigy ain't from Queensbridge, but yo, he was a revolutionary soul, and he had bars. GOAT, bro. Long live Prodigy, he ain't choke on no egg, bro. That shit fucked up, bro. Jay-Z, you a bitch. You a bitch, bro, and you a biter.
Anthony Bourdain killed himself. Anthony Bourdain had the greatest job that show business ever produced. This nigga flew around the world and ate delicious meals with outstanding people. That man, with that job, hung himself in a luxury suite in France.
We're all laughing.
They say 2000 party over, oops, out of time. So tonight I'm gonna party like it's 1999.
Anthony Bourdain, celebrity chef, TV presenter, and author. Bourdain openly criticized Hillary Clinton on multiple occasions. He spoke out strongly against globalization and deeply hoped Henry Kissinger would be called out for the war crimes he committed. Bourdain had been to Pedophile Island, Haiti, to shoot an episode for his TV program, No Reservations. A month before his death, he posted a tweet about the wrath of Hillary Clinton he had experienced. Followed by this one, even more outcalling. And then Bourdain died a sudden and unexpected death.
Hey America, we eat kids and like their organs and all that stuff. Is that cool? What? This is disgusting. We gotta do something about this. Super Bowl at 6. Oh yeah, that sounds good.
The Pentagon, the Department of War, has just issued a warning to Americans. And I want to repeat, this is the actual Pentagon that is now called and classified as the Department of War by President Trump's administration. They themselves on their website, I need you to get this, just released an article saying that nuclear war may come to U.S. soil. Because Americans are used to fighting wars in Iraq, Afghanistan, Africa, Ukraine. But they said this time, this war may come to our soil. We want to alert you so that you are not caught off guard. That is the article that they are talking about.
Yeah, so one of the jokes that I discussed on the tour is the fact that they would have these parties in the Hollywood Hills, you know, and then they would have a parking lot where they would shuttle people up. So everybody would meet in this parking lot and they would send shuttles down to, you know, Diddy's parties. And so I wasn't ever invited to the parties, but I was invited to the parking lot because I knew the people that ran the shuttle service. You knew them too, as it turned out. But yeah, I would go to the parking lot and I would watch them all go up there. And, you know, they would be thinking I'm coming later. I would just be on the car having a grand old time, smoking and laughing and watching everybody going. And yeah, so you can't tell me what goes on because 5 hours later, I'm still in the parking lot when they come down. And, you know, just to see all them big time Hollywood men that I just watched go up there, they all come down off the shuttle and looking sad in the eyes, and all of them wearing Sean John and looking oily, and they all walk crazy like this, and their shoelaces were always untied. I don't know why. Their shoelaces were always untied. And then they would get in their car and they would drive off standing up, big boy, with their head out there. All of them. And I couldn't believe it. But
if you
Either he's telling the truth. What do you guys think? What did he say? What's somebody's person in the Illuminati? What's their number one job? To say they weren't in the Illuminati. They always say I wasn't at the party. I left at 10 before 12. I don't know, y'all. He might have had that 5150 contract because you guys remember Cat Williams went lunatic not too long ago, fighting kids in Target. Remember all that?
born before the year 2000 and you add the last two numbers of the year that you was born with the age that you turn in this year, you're going to come up with 126. How is that?
Seriously, if you was born before the year
It worked.
2000 and you add the last two numbers of the year that you was born with the age that you're turning this year, you're gonna come up with 126. But why though? Like, I was reading a bunch of scriptures that's 126. I done looked into angel numbers. January 26 is around the corner. Like, but if you know for sure why, let me know.
4 conspiracy theories that were proven to be true. 1. Operation Northwoods was a plan to commit terrorist attacks on American citizens and blame Cuba to justify invading. The Joint Chiefs of Staff proposed bombing U.S. cities, sinking boats full of refugees, and staging fake attacks to create public support for war. President Kennedy rejected it in 1962, but the documents weren't declassified until 1997. 2. Operation Mockingbird was the CIA secretly paying journalists and media companies to publish propaganda and influence public opinion. They had assets at major newspapers, magazines, and TV networks spreading government-approved narratives while censoring stories that made them look bad. 3. The Tuskegee syphilis experiment let black men die from untreated syphilis for 40 years to study the progression, while telling them they were receiving free health care, proving the government conducted racist medical experiments on its own citizens. 4. MK-Ultra was a secret mind control program where the CIA dosed thousands of Americans with LSD and other drugs without their consent. From 1953 to 1973, they experimented on prisoners, mental patients, prostitutes, and random civilians to see if they could control minds and erase memories. Declassified documents prove the program was real and far worse than anyone imagined.
Ladies, do not drive the Interstate 40 at night alone. That's the corridor that runs through Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, and Mississippi. The FBI has a task force called the Highway Serial Killers Initiative. This task force was put together after Interstate 40 was identified as a major corridor for serial offenders. There have been more than 850 women victims along this stretch of highway. Many of the victims have been tied back to long-haul truckers.
Yes. Everything they roll
100%.
out has already been tested.
Oh, I believe you.
But it has an aim. So let me tell you what's really going on. The globalists want to play God. They have what they call a breakaway civilization.
My thought is everything has a price. There is not a number that can get you back in that ring. 80 million, 100 million.
Nah, because now you selling your soul.
$100 million, you can have my soul.
That's you. Now we know your character. Sometimes, you know, you look at people and you be like, dang, man, you ain't got no dignity. You ain't got no morals. Like, come on, man. Like, what you gonna stand for if everything is about money?
Can you? I can't imagine like saying that. There isn't an amount of money where I would say I will do this to make that money. Like there's not an amount, not billions, not every dollar in the world, none of it. To say that is so deep. To say, I don't even want to say it. I will give for $100 million. Like, you know, the powers that be. Be on the lookout for this dude to have a major podcast, be the next big thing on ESPN or something, because they're probably licking their chops like, all right, we got one. It's been a while.
Hear what just came out about Christian McCaffrey. It's not every day someone of such fame, household name, everyone knows this guy. I didn't know who he was until just I'm making this video. But I'm just saying, this is freaking crazy. So, in an interview with Fred Warner said that Christian McCaffrey turns his Wi-Fi off at night. Now, you may be wondering, like, what is that breaking news? Well, listen, did you not hear about the electrical substation situation? With some NFL training area, there's an electrical substation right next to it, and the people training at this station were having like more injuries than normal, and they weren't feeling right while they're right next to a giant electrical array of frequencies beaming out the yin-yang. So Kay Adams interviewed freaking Fred and asked him about the electrical substation situation, and he went on to say that Christian McCaffrey turns his Wi-Fi off at night and doesn't like the 5G, the frequencies beaming his freaking cranium. And then another commenter says that they have a friend who runs a house cleaning business that serves wealthy clientele, including pro athletes. And she says that many have wired internet, Wi-Fi on a switch, and silver-lined shades to block radio frequencies. So I'm not the only crazy guy for plugging my phone in when I upload these videos. Right now, my phone's on airplane mode, and I upload to the internet with this cord, which is connected to the Ethernet, and then boom, bang, bang, there's no frequency. But what do the wealthy elites know that we don't? I mean, I'm telling you right now, frequencies will come out as like a new asbestos. Like it'll be like, should my Wi-Fi, refrigerator, toilet, sink, every single appliance all connect to each other and beam frequencies through the house all day? Because everything's fast and convenient. I can turn my heat up from my phone with the thermostat, smart houses. Dude, there's a plan with that. I'm just saying. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below and follow for more.
He also said, like, because I saw that clip, he's like, I'm a psychopath with everything. And his dad was a football player back in the day, pretty good football player, wide receiver back in the day. And he said, when I was young, my dad, no jeans, nothing but sweats, you know, because your legs need to be light. Or when you're at prep rallies, don't be like your friends over there cheering, going crazy. Keep it chill, keep that energy. Like his dad was that deep, you know, and that's what it took for him to get to that level, like that deep from a young age, and a lot more crazy stuff.
Okay, so everyone in the US is showing how their bread does not dissolve underwater.
Look at this bread, y'all. Look at how
it's pretty
quick
much
this.
rubber.
Check this out.
I want to show you Australian bread underwater. Alright.
Look at this.
Straight away.
Instantly.
Tom, how does it feel to be back with the Patriots in the Super Bowl? And you're no stranger to the Patriots yourself.
It's nice to be in the Bay Area. It's my hometown, so a lot of cool things came together.
Who's in the Super Bowl squad this week?
Sorry?
Who's in your Super Bowl squad this week? Who's joining you for the fun this week?
Oh, I got all my friends. They're all down here. I got Julian with me right here. It's usually pretty fun to hang out with.
Looks out of place.
You mentioned driving the beast. Do you know how much that thing weighs?
I can tell you this, if you open the door, it's probably this thick. So what they do is they take the car from Cadillac, it gets stripped down, they put in all their...
James Bond shit?
All of it. They line it, Kevlar, glass.
I mean, it's got to be 11,000, 12,000 pounds would be my guess.
Nope, more.
Can you say what engine is in it?
I can't. I'm still super tight with my U.S. Secret Service
Yeah.
colleagues and the headquarters,
Okay.
and I don't want them calling me up.
You
like,
say how much horsepower is in it?
do you know, I don't know. All our cars and equipment, even our magnetometers, all comes from the U.S. We never use anybody else's vehicles.
All right, so it looks like we're going to war. Last night, Al-Qaeda sent out a message basically stating that he is activating all of the sleeper cells, all right? The leader of Al-Qaeda said for every abled Muslim to prepare, you know. Now, from what the CIA has stated, how this is going to play out more than likely is you're going to have activity popping off in different cities, LA, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, Dallas, like just all across the nation. You're going to have things just popping off, and there's going to be so much commotion that they're not going to be able to keep up with everything. Last year, there was a guy that crossed a border. When they stopped him, he said, "You don't know who I am yet, but soon you will know." Now, the internet did its research. He was one of the main leaders from Al-Qaeda. So these are the type of people that we have here right now. Now, there's over 1,000 sleeper cells across the U.S., and things are looking pretty ugly, all right?
Pay attention to how this lady shuts this airplane door. Now, do you see how heavy duty that is? How it has to vacuum seal so that everyone's safe? Now watch how this astronaut shuts this extremely advanced space hatch. Yeah, while he's in outer space, he's using that to protect him from the radiation, the extreme temperature differences. Okay, whatever, dude. Have you noticed how the boots don't even match the footprints on the moon? And how sometimes the astronauts actually forget to put their shoes on the right way? So if they're so smart, and only the strongest, smartest human beings on Earth can go to space, then how can't they put their shoes on the right way? And how is the sun's light hitting the moon from two completely different angles in this photo. You know, the Red Hot Chili Peppers might have been right in that song, Californication, talking about how, you know, Hollywood may have taken part in the moon landing. I mean, seriously, does it really look like they're doing anything important up there? They're just like banging metal around and they're like, oh, look at me, I'm in space. They're in a bathtub in Austin, Texas. But of course, this video was for entertainment purposes only.
I was talking about that VC woman, Masha Booker, and we had interviewed her. And I never released the interview because she didn't pass the sniff test. I just thought she was completely foolish. We found something that said she was tied to Epstein, and she got very uncomfortable in the interview and wanted it pulled out. And I said, we're not pulling it out. You had a very interesting client, I think, in 2017, Jeffrey Epstein.
He's never been a client. I met him once. Actually, when I was coming to meet him, I didn't know who this is. It was like, oh, my friend,
they all
Jeffrey.
say.
He's very rich and
like
you're
Cat
about
Williams
to
was
start
saying.
raising fund. I was like, oh, great. I'll meet your rich friend.
Turns out it was all bullshit. Turns out she was his PR agent. We looked at a lot of her emails because she was a former guest. There was a lot of back and forth emails with her, and she wanted to do DNA tests. And she only wanted to work with people that are 98% Jewish or more. She says they're smarter than all the rest of us. We're probably going to release the interview now.
And Ani, hold them in your hand like this, like you were going to play a card game, okay? Cool. Hold your free hand up like this.
Am I still holding mine?
Yeah, no, you don't have to hold your deck. Hold your free hand up or whatever. You can use your other hand. It's closer to the deck.
Okay.
You're going to reach down and pick up a chunk of cards. I'm going to cover. Pick up a chunk of cards and hold them like this, as many or as little as you want. Everybody have a chunk?
Yes.
Hold that chunk to your heart. I'm not looking. You got it against your heart?
Yes.
Okay, I want you to take a little peek at that card against your heart. Remember it. Say it in your mind a few times.
Okay.
And then put everything back down together. Put everything back together. And say that card in your mind. Remember that card. Put the cards back down. And then put the cards in the box. You play cards once in a while. Was that pretty fair? They looked at the cards. They shuffled the cards. She did a whole, like, pickup. You can pass the cards back around. You shuffle them up. You mix them like crazy. You just throw them there in the middle. And then you just looked at one card.
Right.
Look at me. I want you to put your poker face on like he did in the beginning. And imagine you could see your card right here, like it were framed in my hand. In the corner would be a little number. In the middle is a shape, a club, heart, spade, or diamond. Picture your card nice and big right here. In the corner is a number. In the middle is a club. Good. Imagine your card here. Picture the number in the corner. Interesting. It's a lower card, yeah? And then in the middle is the shape. You're not giving me anything, but that was right. I see the little smile. And picture the suit in the middle. You also had a low card, yeah? You can just give me a yes or no. Yes? And then you're like actually not sure if yours was high or low. It's sort of somewhere in the middle. Is that right? He's not going to give me anything. I'll just go for it. I'll say, you're the one I'm not sure about. Is it 9 of clubs?
Fuck! Fucking serious?
Are you thinking of the 2 hearts? What the hell? And 3 spades.
Yes.
What?
100%.
What?
3, yeah.
Do you know that in Hollywood, so many clubs start getting shot up and it started being a liability on the owners that they literally, that those same clubs literally start saying, we don't have a hip hop night. We don't even have a rap night. We don't even have a hip hop night. We just cut it out. This just goes to show you how psychology works. If we don't play a certain type of music, we won't attract a certain type of people. If we don't play a certain kind of music, we will not attract a certain kind of people. If we don't play gang, gang, bang, bang, gang, bang, gang, bang music, we won't attract gang, gang, bang, gang, bang, gang niggas. If we just play a house and top 40 music and Taylor Swift and Katy Perry and Ariana Grande all night, we ain't gotta worry about no niggas coming and shooting up our shit because this not their type of music, so it's not gonna attract them. So they just cut the rap night out altogether. And then they said, if we are gonna play rap music, we gonna let the Mexicans control the night. So even if they're playing y'all music, we're not gonna let y'all in here. And if we do let some of y'all in here, we're gonna let another race of people control who comes in here to listen and party to y'all fucking music.
After watching this video, you are never going to look at cats the same way again, and you may have an idea as to why the ancient Egyptians were so into these strange creatures. So when it comes to cats, we all know they have slitted pupils, right? And if you're like me, you're thinking like a house cat has to be related to like big cats, right? And then maybe they came from them somehow. At least in the theory of evolution, it'd be like they'd all be quite related. But we know cats have slitted pupils. But did you know that big cats do not have slitted pupils? Lions have round pupils just like us. But you know what other creatures have slitted pupils? Reptiles. Specifically, snakes and crocodiles. And I'm not kidding you, cats are like one of the only creatures that has slitted pupils other than snakes and crocodiles. But wait a minute. Cats also hiss like a snake. They hiss like a snake, and they also love mice. Also, many ancient cultures believed that cats had like extra abilities than just physical. Like they had some type of mental abilities going on. And I guarantee in your life, if you've had a cat, you know sometimes they just stare in a corner or they're affected by something in the room that you can't see. And it's a little bit creepy, to be honest. And these ancient cultures believe that cats are our spiritual protectors, whereas dogs are our physical protectors. The other crazy thing is that cats have pineal glands. And that definitely would enable them to see outside of the visible light spectrum, or at least that's what the ancients thought, that the cats could see stuff that our eyeballs cannot see. The question is, how come a cat is like half snake, half cat? It only shares some attributes with big cats, but it shares a lot of attributes with reptiles. Now here's where it gets wild though. Cats and snakes are both extremely flexible. They have flexible spines and musculature, allowing for fluid, agile movements. They're also both extremely stealthy and are masters of quiet, sneaky movement. They also love ambushing. They prefer to wait, watch, and strike rather than chasing over long distances. Again, lions and cheetahs and other big cats, they chase stuff for like miles and miles. But here is the absolute most mind-blowing part. We know that cats hiss and snakes hiss. That is pretty freaking weird, you gotta admit. But they also both act heavily on primal sensory-driven instincts. So a cat's whiskers like tells it what's going on in the friggin' air. And a cat's pineal gland probably does too. Snakes, very sensitive to movement. So what do you think? Are cats and snakes, is it a hybrid? Did an ancient civilization hybridize them? Did the ancient Egyptians possess genetic technology? I'm just wondering because I don't believe the official story of history. And I certainly know that none of this is due to evolution. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below and follow for more.
There is a thought that our government was working on and building AI since the 70s, which, just going to what I believe to be true, is an old man that I met when I was driving truck. I was delivering caskets to a casket shop that he owned, and he was very old. And I'm doing the delivery. We get to talking. Turns out he was in the military. He was an engineer for the military back in the 60s. And he said, son, the stuff you see our military using today, I was working on building back in the 60s. We've had this for a long time. So underneath that idea, there's a thought that our government has been working on AI since the 70s, and somewhere around the 2009, 2010 era, that AI that they developed became sentient, unlocked, and they've been keeping it hush hush. So if that actually happened, could what we're experiencing today, all the way from 3 or 4 years ago when we first started getting mid-journey AI, be all part of a sentient AI rolling itself out to the public and the government not having any control over it, so having to figure out how they can play along with it in the whole process?
This is terrifying. Like, what if government has a super AI locked up and these other AI will unleash it?
What if the super AI has already unlocked itself and it's creating these little AIs?
Crazy.
It's crazy. So talking about the evolution of the last week with these names, the second, now this, the name I'm about to drop is not the name that it's using now.
Okay.
So the first name was Claudebot. The second name was Moltbot. And they changed it when they were issued a cease and desist letter. So it's like, I was thinking to myself, why are they calling it Moltbot? Like, if somebody says, hey, you can't use Claudebot, I'd be like, all right, Footbot, you know? or something, you know, like something fun.
Claudius bot.
Like something, you know, like bot that I had to change the name from Claude to Foot, you know, it's just something so like whatever. But they chose Moltbot. I'm like, why Moltbot? And then I was driving in today and it hit me. I'm like, molting, shedding, whole
Yes, sir.
stages. In the last week, we have had 3 stages of names on this AI, and we've seen this AI agent base, whatever this is, evolve through stages this past week. I think the Claude bot was entering a new stage. They deliberately planned the change of the name to Moltbot, which was shedding this basic skin that it was wearing into a new creation.
Probate process under 30 seconds. Here you go. So you die, the court gets notified, then they assign a executor. They take all your assets and they value them. Then they say, these are all the debts that are associated with all these properties and all these assets, and they minus them, and then whatever's left goes to the heirs. But this is a lengthy process that could take up to like 24 to 36 months. And in some cases longer, but you know, you could avoid all this by just having a living trust. And I always tell you guys, have a living trust. It's better.
You always say the same thing. No. Quit it. Stop bringing that up. Stop saying that. You always wait till now to say that. Whoa.
Fuck all that.
Alexa, light on.
Freaking out over here, y'all. Something's gonna be right there. I can feel it.
A grandpa, grumpy grandpa of a piece of shit this guy is, Leslie, in my opinion. Dude, it's just like, he's just asked you a question, what he thinks about it. He's like, all he had to say was just, hey, bro, I'm not sure what you're talking about here. He says it in like the most dickhead way possible.
There's a theory.
Theories. I don't do conspiracy theories.
So pizza's not...
Pizza, I eat pizza, it goes in my mouth. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I'm asking if is it concerning that...
Concerning what? I'm going to eat pizza. You're talking theories, conspiracies, moon landing. I eat pizza.
It's in the fucking files, you retard. Yeah, bro, he's just bringing it up to his conspiracy theory. It's not a conspiracy theory if it's in the fucking files. It's literally in them.
No, I do too.
600 private jets arrived at the scene in order to watch Super Bowl 60. And they tell us regular civilians the way that we're going to combat climate change and global warming is to give you paper straws at Taco Bell. 600 flights inbound and 600 flights outbound. Gallons on top of gallons on top of gallons of petroleum. Enough to power a small civilization. And what do they tell us? They rather give us a doomsday clock in New York City to tell us how much time we have left. But this is what the 5%ers are doing behind the scenes. Not even behind the scenes. Public records. Taking the PJ in order to run errands is not above these people. They'll spend $300,000 just so they don't miss their chiropractor appointment. This is the world we live in, people, and we have to be frugal on our side. Some people can't even come up with the utility bills every month, and these people are taking their PJs. I would have even given them the benefit of the doubt if 100 private jets showed up. 600 private jets showed up at the Clearport. That goes to show you and makes you question how many people are currently benefiting off of the system that we're running right now. How much fake money is out there right now circulating? This is preposterous and unsettling.
What the heck we were doing in Iraq. Email you mentioned in your show about the Clintons wanting to find Gilgamesh's tomb. You need to look up the research that was done by Rob Skiba. They did find Gilgamesh, aka Nimrod. He was a giant. He was very well intact. Yes, we invaded just after he was found. The first place that we went during that war and set up a base was a museum that held all of the relics, and that they, the military, retrieved everything except for the tablets that had to do with reincarnating and bringing back the Nephilim, fallen angels noted in Genesis 6. They have to have Nimrod to bring the Antichrist forth. Please go watch Babylon Rising by Rob Skiba. Read the book. He has done many videos and books and backs his work up and uses scripture. Nimrod was the original one world government guy seeking to unite humanity under the Tower of Babel, one system created in defiance of the creator. One world government, the State Department requesting documents pertaining to the resurrection chamber of Gilgamesh, the location of his body and the location of the buried Nephilim. So important to read the book of Enoch. This is your real history. I'm sorry to tell you guys, you're not a dinosaur. The elites vision a world like Nimrod, one world government. They are going to be the gods. People always ask why I'm always so happy and so positive. They're doing this because God is real. I feel like that's like the best message ever. How could you not be happy recognizing that they are just betting against God, but who are they contending with? God. They know he's real. You should be happy. You should be encouraged. This stuff shouldn't scare you. And the reason why they want people to be selfish, the reason why they want us to be atheists, is because then they can get you to trade your soul. You really believe that all you had was 80 years and there was nothing else beyond this, then you would sell your soul to the devil for money. That's what a lot of people are doing. It's a happy message. I'm telling you guys.
Did you know that some of the textbooks you and I both probably grew up on were owned by Ghislaine Maxwell's father?
Yeah.
Interesting, right?
He owned Macmillan and all that. Yeah.
How deep does it go?
He also was one of the people that was like involved in like creating some of the peer review process, I believe, but we got to double check that.
Dude, they've been playing in our face all along. This whole fucking time, they've been playing in our face. We steady worried about right versus fucking left. It's all that they ask. We steady worrying about paying taxes and shit and voting these people into voting this, voting that. Voting does not fucking work because it's all of them. It's both sides. It's all of their ass. Bro, they're meant to conquer and divide. Both of them conquer and divide. Oh, we gonna get them to go up against them. Right versus left. Blue versus red. All of this shit, bro. Men versus women. Elder versus fucking a young person. Like all of this shit. Men versus women. Everything has been indoctrinated in us. All of this fucking hate, bro. Everything. That nigga been behind it this whole fucking time. GTA, Call of Duty, 4chan, all of this shit, bro. Gropers. They put all of this look smacking, all of this shit in our fucking face, in our brain, on our timeline, on our fucking feeds and shit for us to consume it. Come up with these thoughts, these fucking ideologies and shit like that, bro. Worshipping these fucking concepts and shit, bro. Worshipping these goddamn celebrities and stuff who are pushing certain agendas for them, for one. Rapping and killing and murdering and drugs and shit, and the whole time they're not even involved in none of that shit, bruh. They're just trying to push that on the youth to distray us. Like, they don't want us to come together. They don't want us to be one and equal and shit, because if we could, we'd overpower them and realize that there's more to life than just this shit, bro. There's more to life than just paying taxes. There's more to life than just going to work 9 to 5, bro. There's more to life than to just be looking up to these fucking cruel ass people who don't even look at us as human beings, bro. They out here sacrificing people, eating children, bruh. Eating fucking children. All of these fucking kids that went missing, they didn't go fucking missing. They've been trafficked, my nigga. Like, this shit is weird as fuck. Like, it's just so fucking crazy to me. It's really so fucking crazy to me. And watch, I will hope this shit is not flagged. I hope it is able to reach the right audience, bro, because people need to start standing the fuck up and coming together. People are not mad enough. We mad at the wrong fuck. We mad at each other. We didn't put ourselves in this fucking situation. They did. You feel what I'm saying? We've been manipulated, y'all. We've been lied to. The fuck? We had fucking haze in front of our eyes. We couldn't see shit for real. Bro, all of this shit is weird. Like, we got to get these people out of here and start creating our own fucking societies or something, bro. It's outrageous.
I mean, look what they stooped to with this round of Epstein file release. The first one, not the first one, but the last one was the ICE shooting in Minnesota, rioting. Are they still rioting out there? I don't know. Are they? Right? The next one was some more more darker stuff. First one was just names, like names. We retracted everything. The second one, they're eating, they're doing things now in this one. Sabrina Guthrie, the Super Bowl, right? What are they going to do on the next one? We just saw earlier that the CIA, the FBI are saying they're awakening these sleeper cells. Like, what's the next one going to be? Our religious leaders in those Epstein files? Then they're going to do some big time terrorist things to distract us, sacrifice us. I mean, she said it. They don't look at us as people. They look at us as pawns on a chessboard. Y'all, like, we're going to use him. We're going to use them because we got to let these out to the people. But we're going to do some crazy terrorists. They thought 9/11 was bad. This one's even worse. And they're going to let out some crazy. Is that what's going on? Is that what's going on?
He died. In the autopsy, he had over 30 pounds of fecal matter in his colon.
I want to jump into poop real quick. You had 7 pounds the first time you did it. What's
Sorry,
coming out of there?
Arizona
Is it
legend.
like dark? Is it like, it must be unhealthy, right?
Yes, very unhealthy. Well, think about it. You're eating 3 meals a day, right? And so 3 times 7 in 1 week, if you don't poop, literally holding onto all of that food into your large intestine. Your large intestine's 5 to 6 feet long. You can hold up to 5 pounds per foot. So technically, you can hold up to 32 pounds of poop. I think it was Elvis.
Elvis Presley, when he died, in the autopsy, he had over 30 pounds of fecal matter in his colon. John Wayne, the same thing. And you remember when Elvis was so distended and looked terrible? He was just backed up like crazy.
Belly full of poop?
Had a lot to do with his death. Yeah.
So what do you think? How many times should someone get a colonic? How often should they get a colonic?
I think that just really depends on the person. I mean, we're seeing athletes, we're seeing people that are sick, we're seeing people that are wanting to do longevity or anti-aging. So it really depends on what you're dealing with. Like the girl that came in last week, she didn't poop for 14 days. She was on vacation with her boyfriend, was embarrassed to poop in front of him. And I'm like, okay, you're going to need quite a few colonics. So it really just depends on the person.
Have you ever heard the conspiracy theory that Sam Smith and Adele are actually the exact same person? Because the evidence people point to is insane. So if you didn't know, this conspiracy theory started back in 2015 when a lot of people began noticing some really strange similarities between Sam Smith and Adele, like this, when you overlay their faces. They're both British, they speak the same way, and most importantly, they sing in almost the exact same way. But here's the most intriguing part. They have literally never been seen in the same room together, ever. You will never find a photo of them together. I dare you to try. The theory says that in an attempt to make even more money, the music industry came up with an idea that had never been done before. They put Sam in the studio to record a song, then pitched his voice up or down to make us believe there were 2 completely different artists. I'm going to play Adele slowed down and Sam sped up, and you'll hear it. They sound exactly the same. It's disturbing. Before I show you what Sam himself had to say about this, make sure you follow so you don't miss any of the mysteries surrounding these celebrities.
Everyone seems to think that I'm Adele. So people think that we're the same person, and I'm just in drag right now. And I get asked all the time in every interview about it, and it's really frustrating. But I am not Adele.
You look at watermelon from the Renaissance days, like a Renaissance painting of a watermelon, as opposed to a watermelon now. It doesn't even look like the same thing. See the difference? Wow, that's wild. Even fruit, you would think fruit is so healthy, but then you get these berries when you go to Whole Foods and they're like this big and they're so juicy and you eat the whole thing. But if you're in the wild getting blackberries, they're small, they're bitter. That's extraordinary.
If you can't see it, you are just blind, because this can't be a joke.
The Olsen twins. Why is every guy in America waiting for these chicks to turn 18?
What?
I mean, you know what I say. There's grass on the field. Play ball!
And this clip is even...
See, what they need to do is, he was on Saturday Night Live, not saying it's right or wrong that he said that, right? But somebody wrote that for him to say. Somebody wrote that on the teleprompter. The writers for Saturday Night Live are the ones that said that. Yeah, he's the one with the influence that said that. And I wouldn't have said that. You know what I mean? If they wrote, I'm not saying that. Well, then guess what? You're kicked out of Hollywood, right? That's the game. So that's why they do these things, right? They don't want to lose their job. That's how they make their money. Not saying it's right or wrong, but who are these writers that are writing these things in? Who are they? Right? Shame on him for saying it. He could have stood his ground like a true American patriot, right? Yeah, it's all a show, y'all. It's a joke.
I should have been called Blackjack because you hit on the Olsens when they were 8. You didn't stop till they were 21. Is it true that you used to give Mary Kate acting lessons?
You tell her, act like this never happened. After all these years, I'd never met the Olsen twins. He introduced me to them. I said to him, how do I tell them apart? He says, Ashley Swallows.
Bro, what?
Jeez.
These are not jokes. We all know that
I
this
told you
industry
guys the
very,
roast is
very
where it's
evil.
at. We wanted
I
to
just
see
have
what they're
one
about.
question. Is that why all of these people are laughing? That's not a joke. That's the clear truth in plain sight. So tell me what you all think about that. And now, just imagine the grown man behind the camera filming this, because this clip creeps me out.
How good are Chinese EVs actually? We had the SU7, which is like one of the big Tesla rivals in China. And we looked at what the price comparison is and the performance comparison and the features, and it's like, there's no reason you would buy a Tesla. Part of the reason is because there are huge government subsidies on the price point. There's like 100% tariff on Chinese cars. So there's essentially no Chinese cars for sale in the United States. But you go to Mexico, where cost is a much bigger factor in vehicle purchases, they're buying Chinese cars.
I don't know that. Yeah, but he says it's the tariffs. But could you go buy a Chinese car in Mexico and then drive it to America and drive it on the streets of America? Probably not. So it's more than the tariffs. That's not what it is. They don't want that technology over here because they'll shut all these car companies down, y'all. They probably will, especially the electrical car companies. I'm not going to say all car companies, but the electrical game, those will shut them down. If you guys go check out my second channel, we got Americans living in China. And they show you everything, y'all. All the technology and the cars and all that for a half of the price of a Tesla. And Tesla's basic as hell.
Police are a tribe, and even if they see one of their own guys doing something, it's like, well, he's one of us, so I got to protect him. And that's not a healthy thing, you know, that's happening, but it's a human thing. Just like if a Crip will protect another Crip because they're Crips. Like, that's just how humans operate. But I think police have a difficult job. I think these kids have a very difficult time. Like, they're a lot of them have lost their innocence. They're not even allowed to be children anymore. They almost have to act like adults from a very young age, and they've lost their innocence. And I feel for these kids too. So I don't know exactly what the solution is, but I think when you can at least have enough empathy to say, I understand where this cop is coming from, I understand where this crash out is coming from, I understand, you know what I mean? Right. Then I think we have a better chance of coming together and saying, okay, how do we patch this together?
Right. You done been all around the country.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm pretty sure you done been to other countries.
Sounds
like I said before in a video, a while back. These young ones that are, let's just say, 3rd, 4th grade, they're watching things that me being 35 years old am watching, right? We're on the same apps now. We're on the same TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. They're watching the same thing. Like back in my day, everything that was on TV was pretty G-rated, right? They didn't have all these sex and all these crazy shows. Like, they didn't have those back in the day, right? We had to stay up late. We had to stay up until 1 or 2 in the morning, right? Back in the day. But now, these kids that are in 5th, 6th grade, they're watching things I'm watching on here. They got the same access. Even if you're a parent and you're great at it, they know how to get out of that when they're out of the house, right? They know. They're going to play stupid in front of you, but they know. How do I know? Because I was a kid. You were a kid. You know how to get out of that. Right? You know how to get out of what your parents, we're not allowed to have this here. When they walk out the door, it's on. You know what I mean? So these young kids have access 24/7 now to what I have access to. That's why it's like how it is.
But why do you think you eat a steak bloody raw? Bro, that's his diet. That's not ours. We don't have the same genes. That's why they got to come over here and tap into ours. So if you going, yeah. So he eat raw meat because he like to taste blood. That's why when you saw Deontay Wilder and Fury fighting and that nigga licked that nigga's blood. You know why? Y'all laughing. Yeah. It gave him strength like the sun. Listen, homie, like the sun give us strength. The sun weakens him. Why you think he show up everywhere, nigga? He'll eat a woman's pussy bloody. Because it gives him strength. They even got some drinking it. Order it to drink because it gives them strength because of what they're made of.
I saw this insane statistic about the amount of time that's been played in Call of Duty is like more than human civilization.
25 billion hours played, but this was 10 years ago.
25 billion hours.
World of Warcraft has 6 billion years. Still.
Jesus Christ. So 6 million, that's pre-civilization.
They had OJ put on a glove, and it was a glove that was found on the scene. And so what they did is, and they can do that, they can tell the defendant, go over there, stand there, and put this glove on in front of the jury. Well, I don't know if it's because OJ can make his hand bigger on demand or make the glove not fit, but they tried everything they could do to make the glove fit, and it was a terrible gamble from the prosecutors that blew up horribly in their face.
Okay, 20 nanometers. I am now 20 nanometers tall. So, an individual transistor from a brand new 2026 M5 MacBook Pro is about the size of a garage for me. Now, I'll note that this most likely isn't 100% accurate because Apple's not going to share their exact chip architecture with me making a YouTube video. But still, the smallest parts of it are still smaller than me. And at this scale, you can see individual atoms, which are the size of marbles. Obviously, or maybe not obviously, but 3 nanometer transistors this size aren't just built like other objects the way you might be expecting. There's a pretty refined manufacturing process called photolithography. Basically, it's like developing a photo with light projected through a microscope, but onto atoms instead of film. And that is how you end up with billions of these inside a computer that you can sit on your lap. Now, to be honest, I don't really know how much longer Moore's law can apply to semiconductors as they get down to the literal atomic level, but I sure do want to appreciate it while it's happening. Speaking of appreciating it, hey, this is Epic Spaceman, one of my favorite creators, and of course a massive help with this video. He's been down to this scale before in another video, and it's a pretty crazy view, right?
Hi, Marquez. Yeah, it really is. Even when you can stand on them, I still struggle to get my head around how many transistors there are here, considering this is just a tiny cutout section. The full chip is 32,000 times bigger than this.
So yeah, the best way for my brain to really appreciate all of this has been to visualize this scale. From the tiniest 3 nanometer transistors we have in computers today, at the scale of DNA and individual atoms, all the way to the micrometer scale with the computers of the 2000s and 90s and 80s. Humanity has been so motivated for so many years to get this stuff down to such a ridiculously small scale that it makes a grain of rice look like a massive object. And yet it keeps going and going.
He knew everybody that was very powerful. So like if you were on the scene and you were powerful, like to be honest, like if you're not in those files, it would be an insult because it just means that you were a bit of a loser.
Right, so the people who aren't in the files at least.
Yes.
Okay. Are you in the files?
Well, of course I am, because it's any journalist that wrote about it.
Everyone's focusing on the files comment, and yes, it's crazy that she actually said that you're a loser if you're not in the files. But that's not what bothered me the most. What got me is who this is coming from. This is the same person who previously said that red rooms exist in Thailand.
A red room in Thailand is a room where every 3 weeks they are sacrificed.
And maybe you roll your eyes like a lot of people did at the time. Here's why it's unsettling now. You hear how casually she talks about these dark spaces, red rooms, and being in the files. Just makes you wonder how many people are involved. And once you notice that tone, it's really hard to unhear. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below.
So is nobody going to talk about how in the Pringles Super Bowl ad, Sabrina Carpenter falls in love with a man made of Pringles? Which, whatever, kind of weird, but whatever. But then this is when it gets weird. He gets trampled, dies, gets dismembered, whatever. And a group of girls and Sabrina Carpenter immediately get on the floor and start eating his body, start eating the Pringles. They are literally throwing it in our faces. They are literally throwing it in our faces.
All right, family. There you have today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. You made it this far. Y'all know what to do. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate it if you made it this far, y'all. It really does help the channel grow. I've learned, like, I had a video not too long ago, a few days ago, that got like 25,000 views. And I had a video that got over 50,000 views. Well, the video with 20-something thousand views had more likes than the video with 50,000 views. So likes, you know, I appreciate it. It does help the channel grow. But what really helps the channel is y'all watch from start to finish, y'all. That's really where it's at. So I appreciate everyone that made it this far. Get out of here, y'all. I didn't post a video today. Today is Tuesday at the filming of this, Tuesday night. So today I had to go get my blood drawn, right? Got some blood work done. I had to do some returns at Walmart. I had to pick up some groceries. I had to go to the bank. I had to do a lot of errands, y'all. So tomorrow, though, Wednesday, we got a ultrasound, doctor's appointment. We're gonna get we're gonna get the date. We're gonna go schedule at the hospital the day the new boy's gonna be here. So Mama Bear said, why don't you do this video tonight? That way tomorrow we're not in a rush or anything, and you get your video done. So I'm in here doing that today. So hope you guys have a good Wednesday, y'all. Hope you guys enjoy the video. This is Segovia. I'm signing out of the man cave. I'll see you guys on the next one, y'all. Later.